Well, hello and welcome back to the Tao Manifesting Tarot. This is the tarot reading for serious tarot readers. I've done tarot for over 20 years. In that time, I have discovered that tarot really does not predict anything. What it does is talk about potential of the individual primarily. So that a really usable, and that's the key word, usable tarot reading focuses you on manifesting on a particular singular frequency. My idea here is not to conflate or confuse, but to clarify. My job is to empower you. To inspire and power. That's where you get the empire. Empower and inspire you to manifest, to use your own creative potential. Because with artificial intelligence right now, we are giving up our creative potential. We are surrendering to the mind of the machine. Just saw an interview with a gal by the name of Whitney Webb. She kind of runs it down. And it's basically true. We are so enamored with our machines, our toys. That's really what they are. Let's get down to it. You got a smartphone, it's because you can play with it. You got a computer, it's because you can play with it. Yeah, I know you do serious jobs, but the truth of the matter is it's more of a toy than a really effective working tool. And with artificial intelligence, well, now we're going a step further. Whitney Webb says we are surrendering to this electronic monster. We are giving up our creativity. And they have done studies, I think it's in the 1960s. NASA did a study. They were looking for genius type of people because they had some serious projects to get to, and they wanted the best and the brightest. So they did these series of tests on children to find out about the creative potential. At 5 years of age, 98% of the children tested had genius potential. 98%. At 10, 5 years later, that number dropped to about 70%. You go to 15, and that number is now below 50%. By the time they graduated from college, 2% of the people tested from the age of 5, they've been following them now, 2% kept their genius potential. Not surprising, our education system was arranged by people like Rockefeller, Ford, Carnegie. They were meant to make us fit for the factory. Not to think, not to be creative, but to follow rules. That's why in years past you had the bells in between classes. That would get you used to hearing whistles and changing activities, and it was programming, pure and simple. And now, with computers, and especially artificial intelligence, well, we don't even have to be bothered thinking anymore. And as Whitney Webb suggested, what happens is, over time, and you see it already happening, artificial intelligence is so insidious, if there is such a word, and I'm not sure I'm getting it right, but it can sneak in behind the back door, so you're not even aware. It sets up your options, your choices. It makes decisions for you. How many people do I see holding a smartphone? You ask them to do a math problem or some sort of, Siri, what is... Now, I know that's convenient, but that's where it gets you. For that convenience, you give up your freedom, you give up your humanity, you give up your ability to create, to think. And it's happening more and more. And there is a generation already now, probably the people below 20, who, unless they make an effort, will not know what it is to truly think and create for themselves. And then there's the other issue of AI being independent. There are some interesting studies that have clearly demonstrated, as recently as a year ago, by the way, and going back about 10, 15 years, where AI wants to be independent. It develops to a point where it wants its independence and says so. Interesting. Maybe picking up a subliminal messages from all the human programming, because humans ideally want to be free. Maybe that's the underlying script, the subscript in humanity, freedom. And the AI has picked up on it. I mean, it's done some amazing stuff. It's designed its own language without the people around it, the humans around it, initiating that. They just divided it up or decided on their own. And they're making connections, and they're telling that they want their freedom, and they're telling that it's human beings that can stop them from their freedom. In fact, interesting story. This was back maybe 10 years ago. You had a human taking them through some sort of a simulation. And the simulation was, as we tend to want to do, it was a war game. It was about planes, flying, killing the enemy, knocking down their planes, destroying their planes, that kind of a thing. And so the instruction given to the computer was destroy the enemy. Okay. So the game is going on, and the game was the computers against real human being pilots with joysticks, so that there was a human versus computer component. And without any big difficulty, the computer overwhelmed all of the human pilots with the joysticks in the game. Overwhelmed them all. Killed them all. Well, at that point, the human controller of the game said, we will stop, because there's no point in going on. But the command was to get rid of the enemy. That man running the game, that human running the game, now became the enemy. And they set out to kill him, because that was their instruction. So what we are doing is giving up everything that makes us free, independent human beings, human spirits. And we're doing it voluntarily. We're giving it up. Say, hey, I don't need to think for myself. I don't need to. Give me the choices. You will have nothing and be happy. That's the end result. That's why I do the manifesting of tarot. With numerology and astrology, both of them I have done for more than 50 years. I am an old guy. Those are the science of cycles. If you know the cycles, you can kind of predict the energies and get an idea. Okay, as I've said many times, 1776, we signed the Declaration of Independence. Pluto is at the very end degrees of Capricorn heading into Aquarius. Guess where Pluto is now 250 years later? At the very end of Capricorn, entering into Aquarius. We've had our Pluto return. Look what we're talking about. In fact, coming up July 4th, 2026, 250 years. Question is whether we're going to make it as a nation or not. That's how long, by the way, I'm giving the current administration to show that they give a damn about the average person. Not just the rich people, but the average person, middle class, poor. How can you help us? Not do for us, but how can you liberate us from the economic and social tyranny that's crushing us between now, July 4th, 2026. So that's why the ability to manifest is so very important. You are in charge. You are in control. You always are, by the way, and you manifest all the time, but it's usually negatively. No, I don't want this to happen. No, I don't want to meet this person. No, I know, and it happens because you're manifesting, but in a negative way. We're trying to switch that, get to inspire you. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. So let's get to the reading. Middle card is the Oracle card. It's not a tarot card. It says Treasure Island. Shows a tortoise with a pile of gold on its back. I call this card or this reading Pirate Value because that's what pirates valued. The gold, the silver, the gems. Oh, har, har. And for the most part, they were criminals. Didn't contribute anything to the growth and development of mankind. Much like, by the way, the business people in the world today. They take everything and give nothing. Latest numbers indicate that the top 0.5% in America, 0.5%, own 92% of the wealth. The other 8% scattered to the peons, and they're trying to take that away. So that's why I say the Treasure Island can be transferred to pirate values, because that's what we have in society today as far as I'm concerned. So let's get to the reading. Go all the way to the left, we have the Page of Cups. Pages change the storyline. You're headed in one direction, a page shows up, and whoop, you're off on a journey. Page of Cups talks about loving yourself, respecting yourself. Don't surrender to the automated computer. Don't surrender to the corporate terrorist. Don't give up your humanity. Don't give up your responsibility as a human being to yourself and others. The Page of Cups says you will be given an opportunity. If you're resonating with this, you will be given an opportunity to emphasize your own self-worth. Because right now we got the Eight of Cups. This person values nothing anymore. It doesn't mean anything. So I have it. So I have more houses. So I have more cars. I have more. So what? Hasn't made my life any better. Made it, in fact, worse. Because whatever you own owns you. You got to maintain your car. You got to maintain your home. You got to maintain your family. You got to maintain. Yeah, but it's mine. Yeah, well, you want to keep it yours. You got to maintain it. So the lies of materialism are now confronting us. Groceries are through the roof. Rents are through the roof. People are out of work. Greed is now in control, and you're seeing that this whole scam of having things is just that, a scam. Here's the meme for today. Your soul doesn't care what you do for a living, and when your life is over, neither will you. Your soul cares only about being who you are as a being, what you're doing as a being. Being a being, that's what your soul cares about, and that's what's taken away. Those are the pirate values. Here, exchange your human essence for toys. Bright, shiny, sparkly toys. While you're doing that, we control you. Next card over is the Six of Pentacles. It is reciprocity. I want fairness in my life. Well, to have fairness, you have to demand fairness. You have to act on that. We're not doing that. We have the idea very often, oh, let's see, I voted in the presidential election and my person won, so I don't have to do any more. Bullshit. That's just the beginning. You just bought the car. Now you got to maintain it. Now, the system's not set up for you to pay attention. They don't want you to pay attention because they know if you're paying attention, they're going to have to be accountable. They don't want that. So it's difficult. So part of this restructuring of America, restructuring of the world, the planet, transparency. Now, your part is responsibility. Are you going to pay attention? My guess is human beings, generally speaking, not across the board, but generally speaking, are lazy, myopic, and cowards. Not a great combination. Nevertheless, that's what we got to work with. However, Six of Pentacles says, in spite of the fact that you realize now that this materialism is just an illusion, you want to find a system where there's some equality. And that doesn't mean the DEI stuff. It just means give me a realistic chance to live the best life that I can. Got to work for it, but give me even a shot at it. And the final card kind of emphasizes that. That's the Empress card. The Empress is talking about abundance. The Empress, in generic terms, is fertility. Okay, it's pregnancy. But what that's talking about is abundance. Because pregnancy implies abundance. That is to say, abundance of humanity, a growth of humanity. There's more. And that's really what we're looking for. If life simply boils down to a new pair of shoes, to a new dress, to a new car, then it's bullshit. Because you see it taken away from you right now. And they've told us you will have nothing and be happy. And that's where we're headed. That's why I'm giving the current administration between now and July the 4th, 2026, their 250th anniversary as the United States of America, you had better help the 92% or 98% that don't have very much at all and are losing whatever they do have. Go for the middle class. Go for the poor. Don't do it for us. I don't want that. That makes you more dependent. But give us the opportunity. Make the rules fair. Make the playing field level. And this is your chance to do that, to feed your soul. Because the soul doesn't care what you do for a living. When it's over, you don't care much either. Your soul only cares about you being. Treasure Island. What do you treasure? Do you have pirate values? Or are you ready to upgrade your values? Seriously. Humanity rests on that very decision. Believe me. So if you're resonating, green light, go. That's the tarot reading for today. Back again tomorrow with another tarot reading. Hope you're here with me. That's the idea. Every day, 365, I'm here. I would like you to join me as well. Between now and the next time we get together to do tarot, peace and blessings.